see as you take the field for the first time in 2014 against Western Carolina, please?
We had a good training camp. I think all head coaches out there are pretty happy with themselves when they can get through training camp pretty healthy. And feel like we have a healthy football team going into the season, so you're excited about that. But our guys had a good off season, not just training camp, but really good off season from back in January all the way through training camp. And I'm really excited about watching them play. You know, I'm just ready to see all the work they put in, see the guys go out and perform.
And we'll take questions for Coach Taggart. Please hit *1 on your telephone to join the queue. The operator will introduce you. And we can go right ahead with the first question, please.
We'll take our first question from Joey Knight with the Tampa Bay Times.
Morning, Coach.
Good afternoon, Joey.
Hey, do you notice, I know you can't read your guys' minds, but do you notice a different attitude going into this season opener as compared to last year, just maybe a little more intense, maybe a little more pissed off, for lack of a better term?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I do think they have a little chip on their shoulder. They want to win. They want to prove every naysayers wrong, you know, but they want to get better. They want to live up to their expectations that they set for themselves. And I can see that more in those guys by the way they perform off the football field right now. And then when they come on the football field, you see things are so much better. You know, but I think all these guys, they want to do it for each other now and want to live up to the expectations that they set for themselves.
Hey, just to follow up, Chris Duncan, I think, is a pretty cool story. If y'all play today, would he start?
Chris Duncan, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Pretty amazing.
He's a good football player, you know, and he's worked really hard to get to where he's at, and we're expecting big things from Chris.
And we'll take our next question from Joey Johnston with the Tampa Tribune.
Willie, if Chris is the starting quarterback, then what does that mean for his role on offense? How much do you think he'll be used there?
All I'm concerned about is Chris being the best defensive back he can be for this football team right now, you know, and I feel like we have guys over on offense that can take care of that side of the ball, and if there comes a time where Chris is needed over there, we can do that. But right now we want Chris to focus on being a great defensive back for us and a great return man for us.
Do you think he's a guy that just, you know, he's been a receiver and a playmaker, and he's been like a cornerback trapped in a receiver's body for a lot of years, and he's just now discovering these skills that make him a great cornerback?
Well, we're banking on that. You know, when we moved him over there, I think what we all saw is Chris get better as the year went on. He hadn't played football much, and as the year went on, you saw him start to get better and started to get in the groove, and you could see what he's capable of doing, and really made some big plays for us towards the end of last year, and we expect for that continued growth. And we saw him play defensive back in the spring a little bit, and saw him this training camp, and feel like that's a position for him, that he can be a very solid football player for us.
And also, of your new players, whether they're recruits or transfers, the guys who are just playing for you for the first time, who in your mind do you think is going to be the biggest contributors from what you've seen so far? The guys that have never played for you that you think will play a lot?
Who never played for me? A lot of those guys, you know. I just can't tell you when, you know, but I think a lot of them are going to play. Still developing, still getting better. I don't want to necessarily single out one particular guy, but there's a lot of them going to play for us. You know, we did a good job recruiting, and those guys, some of those guys showing it throughout training camp. And again, I'm excited for them as well to come out. Some of them, it may not be this week, may not be next week, but I think it's time the season over, you'll see a lot of those guys contribute to this football team in a big way.
Thank you.
And we'll take our next question from Zach McMillan with the Commercial Appeal Memphis.
Hi, Willie. I'm wondering what impact you think the so-called targeting rule had last year, either on, you know, how players went about their technique or how maybe they were coached, and if it had any impact on strategy as well.
I think not necessarily on strategy. It just I think you put a bigger emphasis on it, and usually when you put a big emphasis on anything, people respond to it. And we put a big emphasis on targeting, and I think people respond to it right away because they knew the consequences for them. So and so guys didn't target anymore. They didn't leave their feet to go make a tackle. You're seeing a lot more guys stand on their feet and making a tackle. So I think putting a bigger emphasis on it made everyone think about it more.
Do you feel like it was a positive?
It was. I mean, you had less. I'm assuming. I couldn't tell you that right off by statistics, but I'm assuming you had less targeting than you had in the past. You know, because of the emphasis that was put on it, and you had coaches coaching it too. You know, that was something that coaches didn't have to coach before. You know, but it's a rule, and thank you. As a coach, it make you have to continue to develop guys and coach them up on how the rules and how the game is supposed to be played.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll take our next question from Dan Tortora with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media.
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
I am doing great, Dan. How are you?
Doing well. I forgot if you had mentioned this before. I apologize, but I wanted to talk with you about Ralph David Abernathy and what you've been able to take away from him and what you've learned from him since coming there as a coach, and kind of how, you know, he's grown and become the player he's been, because he had a lot of positive things to say about you when I sat down with him a few months back.
Say it again? I think you got the wrong coach.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Been a long day, Coach, but I do want to talk to you about, besides that, I wanted to speak with you about kind of coming in and the players that I did talk to at the AAC kickoff, what you took away from, you know, coming into the system and leading this team, and kind of what the motto is and the mission statement it is going forward for you.
We're going to try to find a way to make this a really good football team, you know, like we all know we can be, you know, and I said it's continue to get better, you know, and continue to come together as a football team and not worry about anything else but worry about ourselves and go out and compete against ourselves and to be the very best we can be. And it's kind of been our mindset, you know. We go out and make it happen, find a way to make it happen.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll move to our next question from Joey Johnston with the Tampa Tribune.
Willie, what kind of impact can Eric Dungy make on this team, a transfer from Oregon? What have you seen from him so far, and what kind of role do you think he'll fill for your team this year?
Well, you see a guy that's been in college, a mature guy that's been in college, but you see a good leader too. You know, I see how he brings some of the guys along, seeing how he's worked with some of the young guys when they didn't necessarily understand something. You hear Tony, you hear Eric say, "Don't worry about it, Coach. I got him. I get him right." You know, he's like, "Wow, that's big time." You know, and that was good. I mean, for me personally, it was good to have on this football team and for our guys to see that. You know, because I think some of our guys can learn from that. You know, just taking the young guy in the wing and showing the ropes. You know, so I think he can bring some leadership, some veteran leadership, and then help us out football-wise at receiver and on special team.
And also, do you expect Mike McFarland to play Saturday night, or is there anybody else that's in danger of missing the game, or are you pretty healthy?
I expect for him to play. You know, we have a practice tonight and tomorrow and pretty much the rest of the week. So expect for all of our guys to play, and except for Nick Holman and Jalen Spencer. Jalen Spencer is a guy that's not going to play.